What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network as well as on the USA Network, as today we're talking Season 2, Episode 4 of Miz and Mrs., entitled A Star Isn't Born. So another very enjoyable episode this week. I maintain that Wednesday nights are the best night for wrestling fans between NXT, Dynamite, and Miz and Mrs. I continue to watch the show on Thursdays, if not on Fridays, just because I don't have time on Wednesdays, obviously, between NXT and Dynamite to watch the show as it airs on USA. But it is never anything less than an entertaining 22 minutes. I will say that much. I find it far more bearable and enjoyable than Total Divas, Total Bellas, or really any of those shows. I fucking love Miz and Mrs. to the point where I will now wait to watch it sometimes with Alexis, because she loves the show. And we watched a few episodes of Total Divas together. You know, she didn't really follow along with the show as much as I did, obviously, because I review it and watch it, whatever. But she very much enjoys Miz and Mrs. for what it's worth. So anyway, this episode kicked off with Zack Ryder. We see him backstage at a WWE show with Miz and Maurice. And Ryder asks Maurice how her pregnancy is going. And Miz is adamant about her not just being pregnant, but that they're both pregnant. Now, that's a theme throughout this episode. The Miz is like, oh, we're both pregnant. We're pregnant. You know, like whatever you go through, I go through. Whatever you go through, I go through, which is the biggest crop of bullshit I've ever heard. I mean, obviously, he's doing this on purpose. I'm not sure if he actually feels that way, but he's doing it to annoy Maurice, and it's working. Meanwhile, Miz and Maurice sing karaoke after a SmackDown show, before a SmackDown show, somewhere, I think in Ontario, Canada, maybe. Or no, I'm sorry, before they get to that point, they're doing, I think it's called Carpool Karaoke, which I think is carpool. They're doing it, you know, they're in the car together and they're singing it. For whatever reason, they do it at a WWE show, before, after SmackDown, whatever. To practice for that, they practice karaoke with Ryan Cabrera, their singer, friend, whatever, that's been on a ton of episodes of the show, that I think is reportedly now dating Alexa Bliss. I'm not sure if that's still happening, but that was the word a couple weeks ago per TMZ. Anyway, so they go to practice with him. Miz thinks he's a lot better than he actually is. While they're there, they actually run into Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, and Jessamine Duke. So I don't know when this was filmed. I assume after Mania, because that's where we are chronologically with the episodes. It very well may have been before Mania, but if this was at the SmackDown show, I have no idea why Shayna would be there, Jessamine Duke would be there, and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey left WWE and has not been back since WrestleMania. Shayna had not been on the main roster until late last year, and same goes for Duke too. I don't know what's happening with her and Marina Shafir now that Shayna Baszler is on the main roster on her own. But yeah, I thought it was really weird that they ran into them of all people in Ontario, Canada. Does one of them live there? Like, I thought that was weird. But they're at SmackDown to do the carpool karaoke thing. Again, as far as I know, I thought this was part of a show, a YouTube show, whatever, where they sing karaoke in the car. And I think that might be the typical theme of the show. Here, though, they just sang, we're not going to take it, after or before a SmackDown show, and the crowd was into it. Apparently, according to The Miz, it was the largest carpool karaoke ever, and he said that it was the best they've ever seen. That was what he was told by the producers of the show. It was one of the best they've ever seen. So all the rave reviews, at least according to Miz, get to his head. Not so much Maurice, but definitely The Miz. So while they're at home, Maurice makes Miz skip tea time and golfing, and he has the whole garb on and everything to go work out with her because, after all, they're both pregnant, right? If she's going to work out because she's pregnant, because she has the big tummy and everything else, in her words and not mine, then why wouldn't he, you know? So he has no issues doing it. He kind of makes light of the whole situation. He kind of makes fun of it. And then to make things harder for him, she has him wear like a fake stomach and fake boobs, like balloons or whatever for boobs to kind of make him experience what it feels like to be pregnant. And obviously it's not as easy as it seems. Anyway, so Marjo walks in. She's disgusted. I thought that was a hilarious scene. They go out to sushi with Ryan Cabrera, who reveals that he's recording a new album with his friends. And Miz wants in. He's like, oh, I'm your friend. I should sing it with you. And he's like, well, you're not a singer, so no. And then Miz had said, well, I got rave reviews doing carpool karaoke, so why not? And then Marie said, hey, listen, by the way, if we're both pregnant and I can't eat the sushi, then you can't either. So Miz can't eat the sushi because he is apparently also pregnant and he's sticking with that shtick. Anyway, so while they're feeding Monroe at home, Miz finds out that, a lot like her, he has an upcoming body mold, because that's what pregnant people do for whatever reason. I don't know why. Miz has to partake in this too, because again, after all, he is also pregnant. So for this, Miz has to shave, and Maurice wants to shave the Miz for him. And he insists that, hey, just shaving it normal is fine, but she insists that you have to do the old tape trick, or whatever it's called, God, I forgot what the exact term is, but, like in the movie 40-Year-Old Version, where they have him, his chest hair ripped out, like with the fucking duct tape or whatever it is. That's what he does. That's what Maurice does to his nether regions. To put it lightly, it's not. I mean, obviously they don't show anything, nor why would we want to see that, But it's not pretty, and I feel for the Miz, because I can only imagine how painful that must have been. And she admits too, hey, he could have done it the other way, but I just want to make his life miserable, so I did it this way. So they actually go to an adult body shop to get the body molds done. Which is why everything is blurred out in this part of the episode. And Miz tells the woman in charge of the whole thing, hey, I want to be bigger down there. And she's like, well, how big do you want to go? And he said, as big as you possibly can make me. So anyway, after they do that whole thing, and they had a bit of a mix-up, and they had to cut it open, and Miz was like, oh, I'm definitely losing my penis now. And thankfully he did not, but he came close there. He had a pretty close scare. So anyway, after that, before they get the molds back at the end of the episode, they bring the karaoke tape from Carpool Karaoke to Ryan to discover how talented he actually is, only to discover that he is not talented at all. Mrs. singing is terrible. He can get a crowd hyped up, and there's no one better at him. There's no one better at doing that than him. But Ryan even reveals, he said, listen, I'm proud of you. I can't step in a ring. You can't sing, so we're even. But I respect that you did it, but that was not good. Singing is not your forte. And listening to it back, Miz realizes, holy shit, this was not good. When you take out Maurice's voice, and which also isn't good. Maurice also has a terrible singing voice, to put it lightly. Not that I have the voice of an angel, but, she did not sing well either. They isolated her voice and realized how bad she was, too. It was not a pretty, not sight, but sound. It did not exactly gel well after they found out how terrible their singing is when you take out the crowd in the actual song. So at the end of the episode, Miz apologizes to Maurice for saying we're pregnant throughout the entire episode. They finally come to terms with the fact that he is indeed not pregnant. And then they show off the body molds to Marjo and Miz's mom. Maurice's is fine for whatever reason. They blur this part out, but you could see her vagina and the body mold. Why? I don't know. I think that's a little weird. Even weirder is that as part of Miz's body mold, they have the penis in there. So his own mom sees that, and apparently he's not weirded out by that whatsoever. That weirds me out. And Marjo, they're like, that's gross. But to Miz, it's normal. The fact that he wants to show them what his body looks like underneath, even with the, I don't know if inflated would be the right word, but the exaggerated penis, if that's the right term to use. I hate even saying that, but that's exactly what happened here. And thankfully they blur it out so we don't actually see anything. But Maurice can tell right away, listen, that's not your junk. Let's not kid ourselves here. And that's the note that we end on for this episode. So you could probably tell why the episode is called what was called "A Star Isn't Born," because the star was not indeed born on this episode. Bradley Cooper, The Miz, is not. And they actually made a reference to the movie on this episode, The Miz did, while they were recording the karaoke practice session early on in the episode. And that movie, by the way, I actually saw for the first time last summer, after it came out 2 years ago. And it wasn't a bad movie, just a very sad movie. But it wasn't bad, though. So anyway, I thought this episode, though, was not sad. It was a very enjoyable episode of Miz and Mrs. Very good stuff here. They're always such a treat to watch. They are indeed the it couple for a reason, and they are the perfect couple, as I've said many, many times before here on the show. So definitely check out the 4th episode of the 2nd season right now of Miz and Mrs. entitled A Star Isn't Born on USA Network before the 5th episode airs this coming Wednesday on USA. Speaking of which, my next review of Miz and Mrs. should be up next Friday right here on the channel. I see no reason why it wouldn't be. Coming up here on the channel in the coming days, a few different things to keep an eye out on. Tomorrow, my SmackDown audio review very likely going up. Sunday, not sure what's going up that day here on the channel, but I do know the Broken Skull Session Show is going up with Big Show. I don't know if that's going up in the morning, afternoon, night. If it's in the morning, I might be able to watch it and review it before the end of the day. That's not confirmed, but that would be cool if I could do that. If not, it will be up on Monday. After that, either on Monday or Tuesday here on Network and Chill, is my review of the third episode of the Ruthless Aggression Show. And I guess my second episode review did a ton of hits here on the channel, a couple hundred views, which is cool. So I appreciate that support. So thank you guys for that. But the episodes themselves are great, so check them out right now on WWE Network, the Ruthless Aggression Show. And I will not even attempt to do my awful Vince McMahon impersonation here while talking about the Ruthless Aggression Show. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. Be sure to have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Graham Jason Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.